Welcome everybody. I'm Linda Roggenkamp, and I guess I'll kind of talk as though you don't know me, but I know everybody in the audience right now. I grew up a little bit south of Corning in Navajo County on a farm, and that kind of, I always helped out with the gardening with my mom and dad, and then I'm now living a little south of Onega, and I have my own garden. And so today we are going to talk about master gardening, and then I'm going to go into a little bit about the garden. First of all, the master gardening program, I just started it, and so I'm a newbie and in training, really. So this is my first vlog, and I'm learning along the way. I wasn't expecting to know everything, and everybody on the group, there's about 10 of us, kind of has their own little expertise, and we help Shannon, if you know her, at the extension office, and that's who we are associated with. The extension office provides this program. We're volunteers, and what happens is that once you have paid a fee for $100, they get you into the program. You have to apply, and you will have some classes. I had to take once a week from August to almost December of last year, and and I chose the one to be online. There is those that are in person there in Manhattan, and the reason I'm letting you know, in case you guys are interested, most of us, well, not everybody is retired on the group. We have a crew that helps with the Wamigo 5-H greenhouse, some of you know that, and some others that, you know, are actually still working full time. So I'm going to hand out this program flyer about the training, and then I want to talk about some of the things that we do. So here's the handout you're getting. This is one of their main things that we did this year. They have been planning this, I think, a couple years, and I got in on the first one that they ever had through our group. Now, they've done garden tours before, but they said it had been quite a while, so it was kind of a newbie. We had a garden tour that went through most of Wamigo, and then it went clear out to the Flush Road. We had a couple gardens out there. But the deal is that the Master Gardening Group, we helped get this organized, got the flyers out, had everything there for the host, got them ready for whoever was going to visit and all that. So we're individuals who share a passion for horticulture, and we're seeking innovative methods to cultivate soil and educate others on the joys of gardening. So the Master Gardening Program, these are the things, so that's why I just copied it up here. You can read through it on the program that I got there. That's what we are into right now. I'm going to show you some of the pictures of our tour a little bit, and then some of the other things that they've done around. So this was one that I actually stayed at, was the Amy Garden, and that was in Wamigo. That was in June. That was the same day we had our dedication, so it was a very busy day. But they had, and they are doing it yet this year, they're considered to be a national display garden. So people will come from all over the U.S. that are into daylilies. They have an address. I assume we're going to post this. I've got to double check with the Master Gardening. But just go to Daylilies, and then they'll talk about the display gardens, and you can find them. This was taken off that site. And best time to visit is right now. Their garden was just wonderful. And it's not too far from the community garden. which they have down there in Wamego, just a couple streets away. Steve and Jane are real friendly. Just call them and then let them know when you're coming, and then they'll be there. That's what they would a lot prefer. And it is considered a private garden, but yet it is a national display. So that's the one I sat with on that day, and he was kind of a host, and our group took care of it. And we had 5 other sites to do that day. Oh, there's a picture. I forgot that was in motion. So you can see it all. That was the day so it's no small matter. Steve was really interesting. He said, yeah, we kind of have our day, and we kind of have our planned things, and told me about some stuff. And basically, they get up in the early morning and go weed and check on everything, watering. They've got a watering system throughout. They've had some, what do I want to call it, water displays awesome in that they actually have somebody else create for them. So, and then another thing that the Masters Gardeners have done is this pollinator garden in Westmoreland, and it's out there by the Extension Office. They just did it, I think, 2 years ago, and then that tornado came through and ripped it all out. They had a watering system in there. So this year. I went over to take some pictures. This is the way they mark theirs. They had just some PVC pipe, and I'm not sure where they get their markers, but I wanted to let you see what I'm doing for our history museum. And I found this out from the 80s while sitting there. And I figure, are very professional. I'll let you hand these around. That's a label in a label maker that I use. And then I really set out one so far for our own display here by the museum. But basically, there's a machine. It is something else, and I can hook it to the computer. And you've got to get the labels. The History Museum bought the labels and the markers for me. But these are supposed to be a little more sturdy, and I hope will last a long time. Amy's really recommended them because they said they're so long-lasting, they don't have to worry about them, and the label maker does a really good job, and I figured I could use a label maker with Master Gardening or maybe here in the History Museum as we need it. So anyway, the museum itself bought this, but I bought that. And then out front, we're starting our display around the building, and one of the plants that we got is an Eastern redbud, and I wanted to show you our plans are to get descriptions for the museum and put them into a booklet, and then you guys can go out and look at them with the labels, and then kind of help you out with learning, and also with other people with the 4-H groups, or just somebody that's interested in it. So I went out to search, well, what should I get for this description, and I'm still working on it. But here's one that I found from the Wildlife and Grasses out at Kansas, and it's kansaswildflowers.org. Very good. This is specific to Kansas, and kind of has a good description. I like the picture, it's colorful. But I also like this one. This one was from the USDA, and it shows you where in the U.S. it is. So that's kind of what our part is to be for Master Gardening, to try to help find that information. Where is it, and that part of it, and help Shannon with that. And then here's another one. It looks very detailed. It's from the Kansas Forest, if you want to go to that website and find out more about it. And I think I have one more that I actually like this one, but I'm not sure if people will want it, but I'm going to check with the common person, you can let me know of these that I've shown. It gives the species name up there, and it was at the Missouri Botanical Garden. And you can just click on it, get the description. I like this deal about the culture and the noteworthy characteristics about who it gets. I like this. Deer tend to avoid this plant. I didn't realize that, and I know the problems with it. So that's a big part of everything with gardening. You should plan. It helps you with insects and the weather and environments that are around. So go to your Missouri Botanical Garden, and if you haven't been there, it is a good website, but it is also a very good place to go visit. So there's that information. So I had to go, and this is my garden, or out there in the field. I found a redbud out in our pasture with my family. They dug it up, and we brought it to the place we were going to put it. I put some chicken wire around it. I thought I lost it the first year. I thought, okay, that was too much stress on it. Digging it up naturally, But you just got to be patient sometimes and watering. And I didn't really put a lot of fertilizer in because the ground, I thought, we kept the dirt with it. But it's now finally starting to get tall. I mean, it was this tall when we got it out of the pasture, and it stayed that way for the first 2 years, and then it kind of got about right there, and then I got a lot of growth this year. And also, it also did have a couple blooms on it. So the advice is to cut it back in late winter or very early spring, and they cut it less than a third of the foliage. And I found this description of it again about how to train it. I'm debating. I've got 3. There's one that's kind of going around it. What do they call that? U-shaped as opposed to a V-shape, and they're almost going to cut off the other one. So one of these are going to go, and I'm debating. And I won't cut more than a third, and then the next year get it shaped up. So there's a little bit about redbud. If you want to try to get one, you can get one out of the pasture. That's okay.
A few years ago, I went out in the pasture and dug up several, and this is a long time ago, and planted them around the yard. And then I had a handful, 4 or 5, that just looked, they didn't look very healthy. So I just found a spot and stuck them in there. Well, that particular group grew the best. And so I was talking to Carl Jarboe one time when he had the nursery in Holton, and he said they're a social plant, and that's why they grow in the timber. And that probably, because, so if you put more than one, it may look a little more like not like a straight tree, but
yeah.
He said they're social plant. So anyway.
That's good advice. Thank you. And that's what this is about too. I would encourage you to comment if you've got something.
Redbud are considered an invasive species. They're not really, I still like them, but they're not really recommended.
Well, they're coming in from the east, and they like our area around the rivers. And they're there.
They're beautiful.
They're beautiful. And you got Washington there with all their...
And you can go out this time of year and find them in the timber, and you can tell them because their leaves are shaped like a heart. Mm-hmm. So that's an easy way to identify them in the timber.
Yep. Good job. All right, thank you. Okay, so I think I gave you this handout also. They are asking for more people to do this kind of thing. We're just here to try to help get people together and solve problems and gardening and so forth. So if you go to the Potawatomi's website, kstate.edu, you can find the same handout. There's applications to do though, and you click on that when you're there, and you can have a person in Manhattan, if they do it right, he likes to offer that. But I did the online one, and it was really good. Very, very good. It was in a Zoom situation. You ask questions and everything. It wasn't just read through it and ask questions. They interacted. So, some other K-State resources. I wanted to emphasize the top one. I remember when she gave her talk, Cynthia, I think it's Domini, I wondered about it, and because she took a long time at that time. But you know, my gardening, I'm not a professional, and I enjoy being out there. It's peaceful. Something that she didn't say, but I came up with. Well, we started with the Garden of Eden. Why did God create us that way? And that was our peaceful spot. So I kind of like that idea. It does help me a lot with mental health, and I like that thought. I want to emphasize, though, that she also helps with this newsletter, and that is awesome if you haven't been out to it. It'll come once a month to your email. It kind of gives, you know, I've got some of the books out there. Crockett does that gardening, and he kind of did it by month, and that's kind of what they do here to tell you what you need to get done for Kansas. So that one is probably one of your better ones to look for. It's, again, if you just search for extension through K-State, you'll probably find it, and say horticulture newsletter, you can search for it. They also offer this during the summer. They're right now from 12 to 1 on Wednesdays, and it's a very good talk again on issues that are happening right in the garden right now. So those are some really good resources for you. Some other ones I'm finding out about, and I'm not real familiar with them yet, but I'm learning. I've downloaded the PlantNet, so if you're interested on your phone, just go to your app store of any sort and ask for PlantNet. That's a freebie, and you can get a picture of the item. I can show you this afterwards if you're interested. I also downloaded this last night, but it's only free for 7 days. But some of the features on it are awesome. You can have your garden in there with the different species that you have and what to do with them. I took a picture of my aloe plant and said, well, this one looks sick, you know, and I was overwatering it, and you know, that kind of thing. And you can identify even insects with it. It's a good one. And I had one of the other master gardeners when we were on our tour. I said, oh, that's a mulberry tree. No, it's not. She took a picture of us. She had already had a subscription. Well, Linda, you're right. I was laughing because I know not identify. People know that I do not keep names in my head very well. I never have. That's all my life. That's just the way I am. So it was good to have her identify. I knew it was a mulberry tree, but if you ask me what species it is, no, I don't know that. But anyway. So I'm moving along. I think for gardening, for the master gardening, that portion, unless you have some questions about the master garden program, I'm going to move on to my own garden a little bit. Okay, we'll move on. So I'm Brazilian, and I like them. Deanna comes down the road, you see them there. I will offer this to you, and you'll see more pictures. If you want some seeds, I've got plenty of seeds here. You can take some in a bag. There's no reason to go out and buy your own. And if there's some of the younger kids, I was going to show them, they don't understand that this flower just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and finally it comes up into this form. And this one's starting to dry out. I wanted them to see that, you know, this is the part that's going to be the seed off of this. So I let them dry out in the garden to the end of the year, usually into September. I'll start start looking to see if I shouldn't get them before a snowstorm might come in or whatever. So, I'll have some more. What's funny is I've got a lot of what I call volunteer things in my garden. I do it for fun. I don't care if they're there. These are volunteer ones, actually. They seed that either flew when I was planting them or came up from last year. I don't care. Here's where they're growing this year. Last year I had them going east-west, and I read up on something I should plant north-south, and I thought, okay, I'll try it for a year. So that's kind of the way I am. I'll just try something. So I planted this first. This is my second one, and it actually comes about from right here, about another couple weeks or so, and then that's my last group, and they haven't hardly even started to flower. So I usually just have them kind of in a ring around the outside of the garden with everything else in the middle. That's the way it's been. Now, that was my pea crop. I have a lot of issues right there. We're by the river, and that rock ledge that's under everything, and it just seems like our soil is cold. So I usually don't worry about planting anything before May 1st up to a point. I can get potatoes in and maybe some lettuce and peas. I thought, I'll try peas again this year. I've tried them several times. But I planted them really kind of too early, for me, at our location in April. That just didn't work. It didn't work with the coldness, and then probably with the rain and the dryness, and I wasn't watering at that time yet at all. But I ended up with 4. That was my big crop. Okay. So I'm also growing potatoes, and you guys all know this. Some onions, and there's my other side of the zinnias, and there's some peppers. So I give credit to Milton Falk for my corn. I will give credit to my son-in-law. He gave us some seedlings. I haven't grown these for ages, so they're the ones that were the little, and I just love those and just pop them in and out. So, I'm here out in the garden, so you can kind of see where I picked them right there. So, anyway, I also wanted to show you, I'm not real picky about the cages that I set up. I've seen people really tie up tomatoes and stuff. This year I didn't get after it. You know how you stick those in the bottom and down? I flipped them over because I couldn't get them through the bottom, and then I anchored them with their own rake things. And I like using these little rake edges for marking where things are in the garden, and then holding down tomato things. And then that one was real tall. What do I got going here? Oh, it's the same thing. They're upside down. Anyway, tomato cages are really nice if you want to keep the tomatoes off the ground. It's just good practice to, you won't have as many varmints. My corn crops have been looking good. Like I said, Milton gave us some of the seed, and he did last year too. And it's awesome corn. This is a volunteer sunflower that came up. Last year I planted, I think about 10. And I did get some pretty good results. That I had the heads, and I used them for birds. That's what I used them for. I like that. Got a lot of birds around our area. And then this is the way it's going on the gourds. I had this powdery mildew. I sprayed for it. And I didn't do too much. But I did get a decent crop. I'm going to offer, I was hoping I'd have a big crop. There's a whole bunch of these between the buildings here. If you want to, they're out on the cement slab on the walkway. And you're welcome to pick them up if you want them. This is last year's crop, and that's kind of what I was wanting, a big one. And last year we went ahead and sold it. We were trying to make money a little bit, so I did that last year. This year, I don't know, they're not that big, and so you can, they're okay. They're bigger than this, most of them are. But they're kind of fun. I was hoping Karen Matson would be here. She's also a master gardener, and she loves growing gourds, and she sells them, I think, in Topeka and stuff. So you might ask her some more information. I sprayed them a little bit. I think I have that as a slide even. Yeah, eventually. You'll see what I sprayed them with. I'm just going through bugs and infestations. Squash bug is on my gourds right now, and I sprayed them real good. I was going to talk to the kids about how insects have these different molting stages, and I had the little ones, I think they're way up there, and then you had an adult even, they get bigger and bigger. And these are the potato bugs, and some of them don't realize that once they get the stripes and hard on them, that is still the potato bug. This is just before they have metamorphosis. So I'm not much for pesticides around the home. A couple reasons. I've got a real good group of hummingbirds that come in, and I don't want them messing with some pesticide that's in the flowers. And then kids around, and just in general. Even as I was doing extension work, they didn't emphasize it. I thought, oh, I have recommendations. What do you got to do? Their main recommendation was read the label and get it to suit with what you are doing and need. Okay? And then make sure. Now that potato was all infested, but this, I think, I tried to pick it out this morning. I dug these. That's the potatoes that were under it. So it wasn't bad. I mean, I got two good sized ones and a couple little ones under it. So I know people get all worried that there that many, but I tried this next pesticide. I can't promote a certain one, but this was one I tried, and it's kind of more organic. It was the first time I used it, and it told me what it was good for. I thought, oh, I'll try it. Wi-Fi's other pests up there, it says aphids and stuff. So obviously, I did not put it on no, I did too. I did on the potato plant because it was long enough ago. We have something out here that Debbie caught this morning. So I don't know, I'm debating whether to put some 7. You guys use 7? I'll probably powder it with some 7. It's got some caterpillars on it. I go organic. Extension kind of emphasizes that, but they do have a lot of information about different products, and I'm not real familiar with it all yet. I wanted to talk about my oak tree. I think Tim and I, when we first got married, we decided which tree was going to be cut down. We cut that one down because they were too close, and this one is just blossomed. It's a beautiful oak tree that gives us some nice shade. I guess I got it out of order. I'll keep going on what I got. I thought I also had the pine trees right next, but I don't. Well, I know why. If you look back, okay, yeah. I wanted to let you know where this is. I am working on these areas, and that's on the next slide. 2 years ago, I planted some hospice, and I do have the thing here if you need to look at it. I had 2 varieties, but this is the only one that survived. It's a funny spot that I'm in because of the shade, and it's on the north side, yes, trying to get something to grow is interesting, but I have hopes. This is my 2nd year, and I did get some flowering. I do have some buds. I also was doing beds and learning to give in the little matting down. I like all the stones came from our property, and that's what I like to do. And I have plans to put some pretty good flowers into that eventually, and I'm debating what kind of perennials. I had all chipping along here, and it just washed to over here, and I'm surprised that one even survived out in the corner. So I went to rock. That's what you prefer. So that's where I'm at on that. Then I go around the corner, and as you can see, it's just got a pile of rocks. I don't know if I'll get that bed done this year yet or not. And if I keep on continuing around the house, we had some stone that's coming into the deck. I wanted to show you how I get after weeds sometimes and I don't. I don't really like pesticides, I tell you. I'll go out and just pull them real quick and do it. But my plan is that someday, instead of having this weed nest, and I have a lot of natural plants in that area too, is to take, I guess if you can see it, I didn't get to it this year, but I'm planning on just removing the rock and putting that leaf guard on it, or plant guard, and then put the rock back. Maybe it'll help a little bit. You know, with all the leaves, with the trees around, you get dirt, you're going to end up with weeds anyway. I blow it with the hair dryer, and I got a leaf blower, so that takes care of it. I'm trying to see what one little strawberry plant would be like. I had a whole grove, and they died back after a while, and I need to start again. So I was just going to try to do one. So anyway, that's around the house. And there's some other things around the house. Just got the deck painted. I like using tubs. I like a lot of petunias. Got a geranium. And I really liked this plant. And this was why I did that. If you're into that. I did like that plant. So promoting it, and seemed to like what I did with it. Petunias. So these are the other trees by the oak tree. They are red or Norway pine. I know a lot of them are going bye-bye, and I think it's because of disease that maybe they didn't have things cleared, because I'm having good luck with these so far. And maybe because I don't have any pine trees other than mine right there. If somebody was nearby and they had one that was infested, I'd have to worry about it. But I also go over there when it's really hot and I just spray it with water. Even though these little needles, you know, they're pretty tough. So I think that is the only way they get their green and photosynthesis and all that. So I give them some water every once in a while that way, and water in the bottom. That's me. Oh, and that says the end. So that's my slideshow. Up here, I want to talk about some different things if I haven't yet. I want to shut this off so we don't get blinded. All right. So we talked about the gourds. You can take some seeds. This is my handiest tool. I only had it a couple years, and it was on a farm sale, but I love it. I can sit there and just, I love it for, do you have one, Diane? It is so handy. I just love it. That's my favorite. We talked about the potatoes. Okay, so then out there, I put out all my, kind of through the years, you got to figure I've been an educator, and I always had to have handbooks ready for the kids and field guides. This was a set of encyclopedias my mom bought, and if I can't find something on the internet quick, I'll go to it, and they usually have some pretty good recommendations. It's over 40 years old already. So, but a set of encyclopedias. I like field guides if you're trying to identify something, but I'll tell you what, these new apps, you take a picture, it'll get it right there. So these kind of old school, not liking that. Shannon, out of the extension office, does a lot with soils. You can get a free sampling of your garden of the soil type. You need to talk to them about that if you've never done it. I haven't even. I just kind of put our stuff together. I think that is my, these little things that they used to have over Extension, I think they're all online, but Shannon did tell me the other day, she said, you know, if anybody wants one, you know, they just got to tell me what they want, and we'll print it out for them. They don't have them on, in the office so much. A couple seeds, I mean, that others have given me. I guess I'm open for questions or comments and what's your concerns. The books that are out there, you're welcome to look through. And if you want to check one out for me, I don't care. But I want to know that you have it, because I'll want it back. Because you might see something you like. There's a lot of variety out there, and the extension isn't promoting those. Those are just my own collection that I've had. So there.
I have a neighbor who has a fairly large garden too, with potatoes. So I had to think about him because he would go take his can and he would go down the row and he'd pick them all off.
That's what we were taught to do. That's what Mom used to. They had 7 kids. We'd have to go out and go pick the bugs up, and then Dad would throw a bunch of gasoline on them and kill them. That's what he did. I don't know. That's the way we did it. I just.
Yeah.
I don't like doing it, but that's what I do. So, let's see, what else? Yeah.
We've got, I guess, Japanese beetles, or
Yeah.
whatever they are. I mean, they're awful.
They are this year. I guess I can look up, or you can, you know, try to talk with them, or I can get online, but,
Right now, they're on our cherry trees and the grapes. They haven't ventured to the apple trees yet.
well, that's interesting, because apple trees, you need to spray them every once in a while. Them, and I don't have an orchard. I don't know. Tim, when we were first married, had a ag guy from K-State, and he said, oh, you got all those pine trees and evergreen trees, you'll never get a good crop of apples. Don't even bother planting them, so we never did. I wish we had, because it'd be as big as those oak trees, you know. You do need to trim them back, though, too, because I know that, because our pastor needs to do that right now, and they need to get somebody out there to get it trimmed out if you really want a good crop. Otherwise, they do become buggy. I've gotten apples off.
I'm having a terrible, my tomato plants don't seem to have blooms on them. Now, I've got a few big tomatoes where they were bloomed earlier, but now,
You can't find any insects on it or anything?
no. Well, not insects. I found 4 tomato worms this year. That was earlier, and I haven't found them lately. But some of my tomato plants look okay. About half of them look horrible, sick. Leaves curled up.
There's something else on there, mildew or something.
Well, I took pictures to Jackson's greenhouse last week, and they said spray drift.
Oh, that's very possible.
If they curl up, it's spray drift. If they curl under, it's something else. It's like a disease.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Is
yeah.
what he told me. Or
Well,
that's what Carl Gerbeau said. He just looked at it and said spray drift, and that's what I assumed because they're curled up. But now, even on my 6 really good plants, or not really good, better, there's no blooms. Hard. You just can't like
I
find
had a hard time with mine last year. Now this year, they're really plush yet, but I'm curious to see as the season grows, because I plant pretty late with tomatoes. It's always May. So you
Yeah,
probably, and I'm getting some. I'm getting the little ones. I notice my other ones are about like this, but they haven't turned. And then this morning I saw a couple about those, you know, I don't know what they call the, you know, pimento shape. Roma. Yeah, they're getting that bottom rot on.
Oh.
And they said it's caused by watering. I haven't been watering.
No, I think it's caused by lack of calcium, is what they told me the other day.
Okay.
And this year, I saved eggshells and ground them up and put down in the holes.
Does that happen?
That's what, I haven't had, blossom and rock is what that's called, when it's dark on the bottom. And it's clear through the tomato, you're not gonna slice it
No,
off.
I throw
It's
them out.
yeah, throw them away.
Throw them away.
But they said it's like it's what she said is like a calcium.
Well, I might have to try that.
So I save eggshells and throw a handful down in the hole. And this year I haven't had any of that problem, but I don't have any blooms either, so.
Well, and then as we were going through our slides there, I knew I had a slide that had 4 different plants. I was going to have the kids try to catch what they all were. I had a watermelon, a peony, a potato. What was the other one? There was 4 plants all growing in the same area, but you couldn't really tell it because the watermelon was under it. But they were all healthy, you know. So you know, the one that you said with the red bud, they want to be with the group.
Social plant?
Yeah. I thought, okay, that's my garden. But anyway. Okay, and I'm here for a resource, I guess, from here on out. I do have to do 40 hours of volunteer work, so some of this is coming into play with the history. Now that I can do that, I'm not an expert, please, I will ask. That's what we do, and then I'll go to them. You know, your questions are great. Keep asking, and maybe I'll keep learning a little better. But try to get you to somebody else. That's kind of part of it too. Okay.
Do you cut the suckers on you pinch off suckers on tomato plants?
I haven't.
I never did either. Last year I tried to, but this year
No, I've never paid anything off of my tomatoes. I just let them keep growing.
well, when I'm standing there with water, yeah. I don't
You
know.
shut us off, didn't you? Oh, no.
Thank you, Linda. Let's give her a round of applause.